Juneann Lewis Show. We're here to inspire you to your next level. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Juneann Lewis Show. This is your host, Juneann Lewis. And you know, I bring you educational, motivational, inspirational material all the time, content, great content. I'm going to tell you, the guest that I have today, I'm so excited to speak with her. Sarah is a film documentarian. When I tell you she has done some wonderful things, she has done a documentary on my daughter, so I happen to know Sarah personally. She did Sirens and the Seashell Queen, as well as Sharks Unknown with Jasmine Graham on PBS. Let me introduce you to my guest, Sarah Shore.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks so much for having me.
Welcome,
Thank
Sarah.
you.
Yes, thank you. Listen, it's a pleasure having you on the show. You know what? As Sarah being a documentarian, she has filmed me before. Now, well, I'm going to make you guess. It's between Venezuela, Suriname, and Brazil, and people be like, oh, and then eventually say, okay, and I bet you would never forget that. You're always going to remember it, right? So that's my little way of teaching people.
Yeah, I'm definitely never going to forget it.
Yes.
I'm gonna
Oh, it's my turn to film her. So
yes, it's a nice role reversal.
It is truly. Sarah, so tell everyone a little bit about yourself. You're quite an interesting young lady. Let us know a little bit more about you. My audience would certainly love to know that.
Yes, so I am a documentary filmmaker. I have a background in marine biology and cultural anthropology. So I do have a lot of science experience, which is coming in handy with Sharks Unknown with PBS Terra, because I'm able to help work with the scientists and bring some science education. But I'm also very interested in people. I went to school to study cultural anthropology in a PhD program.
Yes.
And I decided that instead of staying in academia and getting my PhD, I decided to go ahead and leave and work on something different. And I decided to go into documentary filmmaking because I believe truth is stranger than fiction. And I think that there are a lot of real life stories to tell out there that really get into the heart of what it means to live your life and to do something wonderful with your life. So.
Yes, truly. Listen, Sarah, I know that you did the documentary with my daughter, which is Siren and the Seashell Queen. Now, one of the things I want to talk about is what got you into even thinking about doing something with seashells and mermaids and that sort of thing. What got you into that?
Yes, well, I'm kind of a mermaidy sort of person. I love the ocean. I love to swim and dive, and I remember I was working in the Florida Keys a couple years ago, and I was at a pool at a marina, and I saw a woman swimming back and forth with a mermaid tail, and I was like, I have to talk to this woman. I just had never seen that before. It just at a public pool, you know, or at a marina pool. And so I went up and I chatted with her, and she was so friendly, and she told me all about the Mermaid Festival in Key West and the Underwater Music Festival at Louis Key and the Mermagicon and all of that. And so I learned that that's something you can do. And I always kept it in the back of my mind. I'm like, I want to go to Florida and I want to study, or I feel like of all the topics you can talk about in Florida, which there are many, the mermaid culture is a really fascinating subculture.
It is, truly. And you know, I had not known anything about the mermaid culture or anything until my daughter got into it. And that's when I discovered, wow, there's a whole world. I did an interview with Caribbean Queen just to find out that she was the first Afro-Latina mermaid. Didn't even know that. And then I did an interview with Carrie Water.
Yes.
And did not even know that she was the first African American to actually do an Afro mermaid. That is truly, when I tell you, it's a whole world, and it's fascinating to find out about it. And just for you to step into that world, Sarah, you did a wonderful job on the documentary.
I am your favorite Seashell Queen. My life in the military was just, I guess, you go to work, you get dressed, you put on your uniform, you put on the same uniform. But I've always been a girly girl. When I started swimming and learning how to swim and learning how to swim like a mermaid, it's opened up a whole different world that I wouldn't have seen. I didn't want to learn how to swim for the longest, and that's why I was kind of like, yeah, I'll take the mermaid title, but I'm not going to the water. But then I was like you're living in Florida, you like doing water things, you like going out in the water, there's a whole world under the water, you know. that you're missing out in life. I couldn't let my fear keep holding me back in life, and my anxiety and everything like that. And I just had to push through. And a lot of times I wasn't challenging myself just because I was like, well, I don't have to challenge myself because I'm this. They've said I have this, and this is where I am, and this is who I am. And I was like, you know what? No, you can push through that.
She was in the military, and of course, like most people in the military, they experience some sort of trauma, especially if you've been overseas. When she came back, we noticed some subtle things like she was jumpy and always scared. And so it was recommended that she start doing seashells.
I just love this one too as well. This is like probably my second favorite. But of course, the Grand Iona Paris. The Iona Paris Queen. Watch.
We were very pleased. It's been in several different film festivals. Mm-hmm. What are some of the film festivals?
Yeah, so it premiered at Sunscreen Film Festival in St. Pete. Then it played at the Oregon Documentary Film Festival. It was nominated for Best Short Documentary at both the Oregon Documentary Film Festival and the Sunscreen Film Festival in St. Pete. And it is also playing at the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival coming up and at the Tampa Bay Underground Film Festival.
Wow, wow. And you know, Sarah, the good thing about that is that you're introducing people now to the whole entire world of mermaids and seashells and that sort of thing. Which, and you know what? It was good when The Little Mermaid came out. I know you were a part of that as well. And I'm going to tell you something. You guys know I tell you on this show that part of the show is reality, and I step into the real world of all of my guests to see the things that they're doing. Let's take a look at some of the things that I did with Sarah. So besides Sarah coming to my house and filming me for my daughter's documentary, we've had the opportunity to go out and do some things as well on the red carpet.
I'm SK Shore. I am the director of Sirens and the Seashell Queen short documentary. This is my first documentary short. I'm honored to be here at the Sunscreen Film Festival, and I have the beautiful official Seashell Queen, Iona Paris, with me, the star of the documentary. And we are about to see the film for the first time, the premiere, in the theater on the big screen.
So how do you feel?
I feel so good. I feel very honored that she even chose me to be in a film for her first film, for her first documentary. And we know it's a winner, so you guys all come out and see it.
I concur. I believe it is a winner. Look, we're already claiming the win. So we're heading in to go take a view of this particular film. And I am so happy to be Iona's mom in here. There's a glimpse of me. Just a glimpse. If you look fast, you'll see me.
Wasn't that wonderful? Sarah, you know, you are so talented. And it's a pleasure to get to know you as a human being as a whole. Now, in your project that you're working on right now, can you expound upon a little bit about that? Because I know you're a scientist as well. So tell us a little bit more about exactly what it is that you're doing.
Yes, so my friend Jasmine Graham, she's a shark scientist. She lives in Bradenton around here. And she and I have known each other since college.
Wow.
And she started a nonprofit called Minorities in Shark Sciences. And that is sort of like a social network and career development nonprofit for women and gender minorities of color in shark science, which sounds like a very niche group of people.
Right.
But there are over 500 members worldwide now.
Wow.
So all of these women get together, they collaborate on science projects, they hang out socially, and they do summer camps for children in the area. And so Jasmine decided to apply for a grant for a PBS show, and she asked me and another producer she knew to help her make the show.
Right.
And we got the grant, and now we are on PBS Terra with Sharks Unknown. And I get to work with my friend Jasmine and all of her peers, and we get to go do like a day in the life of a shark scientist.
So when is this going to be aired?
Oh, it's aired for 2 episodes, but it's still ongoing. So you can watch, the first 2 episodes are out now. One is called, it's YouTube titles, so they all kind of have like a different format than a traditional TV show. But the YouTube titles are Shark Traffic Jam inside a Biscayne Bay Shark Survey, and the other one is something strange is going on with these leopard sharks.
Ooh. Look, we have to pay some bills. I do want to thank my sponsor. My sponsor is Infinity Aero Club of Tampa. And if you want to learn anything about flying, please do contact Infinity Aero Club of Tampa.
I am 15 years old. Right now we're at Infinity Aero Club Tampa. An amazing flight club experience. I want to fly for the Navy. I want to fly fighters, land on boats, and then after that, go to Top Gun, be a test pilot, Blue Angel, things like that. And I want to go and be an astronaut. Absolutely. The only limits that there are for you are the ones that you set for yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess we'll have to watch.
Mhm.
And please do tune into that so that you can see, if you don't mind telling them again so they'll know where it is exactly
Yeah,
that
so
they can
it's
watch.
Sharks Unknown with Jasmine Graham on PBS Terra on YouTube. So if you go to PBS on YouTube, you should be able to find it.
Right. Now tell me a little bit more about your background. Because your background is science, and I know you said that you came out of school, but where were you raised, where were you born, that sort of thing?
Yeah. So I'm from Knoxville, Tennessee, so far from the ocean, but I wanted to be a marine biologist since I was very young. So I went to the College of Charleston in South Carolina, and I went out on some boats while I was in college and did some research. Like, we went out on a boat, we spent 10 days going out into the ocean and coming back. And we were so far out, you couldn't see the land, you could see all the stars in the sky at night. It was really
So you
beautiful.
slept on the boat?
Yeah, we were out there for 2 weeks almost.
Please tell me you had
Yeah.
restrooms and that sort of
Oh,
thing.
we did, yes.
Okay.
It was a really big boat. It was
Oh,
huge.
okay.
There were so many rooms, and the food was
Okay.
amazing.
Oh,
But I'm
okay.
getting off topic here.
Oh, okay. No, you're not. You're fine. We're finding out a little bit more about you.
Yeah.
Yes. Not a big deal at all. So what is that process like submitting to film festivals? Because I've always wanted to know about that.
Yeah. So there's a website called Film Freeway, and
Okay.
that's the standard way. You go on there, you upload your video, your film, you write your descriptions, and then you can send it to different festivals. And if you know a festival, like if you know some of the organizers, they'll give you a waiver usually, so you can get your submission fee taken off. So that's
There is a
nice
fee
way.
to submit.
Yeah. So that's the thing when you do film festival submissions, you want to really target festivals because pretty much every festival, the way they raise money for the festival is by charging an application fee.
Yes.
So it's usually between $30 to $60 depending on when you
Oh,
submit.
that's not bad.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But you can't apply to hundreds, otherwise you'd be spending thousands.
Yeah,
of
you'll
dollars.
be spending thousands.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I limited myself to about 12, I think,
wow.
and I have a pretty high acceptance rate because usually with film festivals they only accept about 10% of the films that they get, or it might even be less than that. So the fact that I've gotten into festivals around here, and especially the Fort Lauderdale Film Festival, Tampa Bay Underground Film Festival,
Yes.
all these amazing festivals, it's just been a huge honor. So.
Right, it is. Now, tell me, there's a little girl watching out there that wants to do what you're doing. What would you say to that little girl?
I would say,
Or boy, let me say
Yeah.
that.
I would say any topic can be interesting. Any story can be told. Even if something sounds boring to you, if you tell the story the right way, if you pay attention to the details, it will be a good story. And everybody has a story. I would say if you want to be a documentary filmmaker, really be a genuine person and talk to people, find out about their lives, find out about what makes their lives meaningful, and just really take the time to get to know those people because those relationships are what makes the film good. I guess there's also the kinds of documentaries where you're fact-finding, you're doing
that sort of thing. Yes.
So in that case, you want to pay attention to the details as well. But you're going to be reading your books, doing your research. But whatever you find interesting, you can make a documentary about.
This is
So
true.
follow what you are genuinely passionate about.
Yes. Yes, thank you for sharing that, Sarah. All right, but Sarah, it was a pleasure speaking with you. We have to have you on the show because I'm going to look at the show that you're with now, and we want to review that. I'm going to actually be doing that and sit with you and talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be
Yes,
great. Maybe
yes,
we could
yes.
even bring the host of the show, Jasmine, around.
I would love
have
to
a chat.
do that, to
Yeah.
bring Jasmine on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
You can make that arrangement.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I could. She
Yeah.
lives around here, so.
Oh, okay, fantastic. We can bring her on the show and have her talk, both of you.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about the ocean. Because listen, I know The Little Mermaid, I know fishing, I know those sort of things. kind of, sort of, how big was the boat?
The boat I was on, it was I think 150 feet long.
Okay, so that was a big boat.
Yeah.
Okay, because the only thing I think about is going on cruises. Anything smaller than that, I'm like, yeah. But that's a decent sized boat. Yes,
It had plenty of room.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's definitely, you had enough room and enough things that you can do. Now, is that something you guys normally do? Are you going back and doing that?
Well, that was a long time ago for me when I was in college.
Okay.
But I do love science, and when I've been helping produce this shark show, I've remembered how much I do enjoy
Right,
science and learning about the world.
right.
And all the scientists that we interview, they're so cool. Science is very detailed. You know, they always have their computer programs. I'm always so impressed by the breadth of knowledge they have and the depth of knowledge they have, because they know how to code, they know how to do all these math algorithms, they know how to collect data and do it very precisely. And I just think it's very important to show what science is actually like.
Yes.
And that's a big focus of the show, because it's not overproduced like we just have the scientists off for 2 seconds and then go back to showing the great white sharks or something. Like, this show is really about the scientists, and it's kind of supposed to be a day in the life of what it's like to be a shark scientist.
Oh, I see, okay.
So we get to be with them, we get to see what their lab looks like, we get to see where they go out on the boats and what they do to go and get data, and we get to interview them about why they chose science and what's interesting to them about what they do. So
Now, do they ever catch like sharks and cut them open and that sort of thing?
well, usually they try to get sharks that are accidentally caught by fishermen and then donated to the lab,
Okay.
so that they don't have to kill sharks.
What are they finding out? Are they finding out anything that we need to know about sharks?
I mean, there's all kinds of interesting stuff. They found out recently that, do you know what a bonnethead shark is? It's like a little tiny hammerhead.
Oh, okay. I know
Yeah.
the hammerhead with the two things sticking out.
This is like the smallest type of hammerhead. So they found out recently that these guys, they like to swim in the seagrass, and they actually eat seagrass along with fish.
Oh, okay.
So they're actually an omnivorous shark, which we didn't know existed until a couple years ago. We thought that all sharks are carnivores, right? They're all predators.
Right.
But these little sharks, they actually eat seagrass as part of their diet, along with all the other stuff that a shark would normally eat.
So tell me, because the only thing I know about sharks is you don't want to be close to them. Jaws, all of those things. You know, Jaws 2, Jaws. That's the only thing I know about sharks. So tell me, you've had the opportunity to encounter them, and is there something that we as humans, like snakes, how we're really scared of them, but we really don't have to be, or should we be?
You know, I don't think we need to be as afraid of sharks as we think, because usually they don't want to eat people. In fact, they pretty much never do want to eat people. We're not what they want, and
They just need a little snippet taste of us? Is
yeah.
that what
Well,
it is?
of course, it is dangerous if a shark takes a taste. You know, it's not going to end well if it's a big shark. But I would say that, you know, it's a case of mistaken identity. The shark might think that you're a seal. That's a classic one. If
Oh,
we're
really?
surfers. Yeah, so when there are fatal shark attacks, it's usually great whites, and it's usually in places like California where great whites live. It's usually because when surfers are wearing a wetsuit, they look like a seal floating around at the surface, and then the shark thinks, oh, that's what I want to eat. I like to eat seals, and then they will bite the person, and because it's such a big shark, it's usually not good. But a lot of times, sharks are afraid of people. One story for you, when we were filming one of our episodes, we were trying to get the sharks to come to us. We were throwing fish heads in the water. We were throwing chum, like big, like oily, greasy chunks of fish. And it took 5 hours for the sharks to show up. So, if you're ever shipwrecked, we're like out in the ocean. We were out really far. The water was like 100 feet deep, but we were still close enough to shore that the sharks were around from the reefs.
So, but did you jump in the water? Were you on the boat just trying to call them?
Jasmine and some of the scientists she works with, they were getting in the water, and we had a camera guy in the water.
Shark bait. Okay.
Yeah, and in there with the fish heads and everything. And it took the sharks 5 hours to show up. And when 2 sharks did show up, they weren't trying to eat the people. They were just circling around, smelling the fish, and then they went on their way. So
Wow.
So
we learned something. See what I told you? We're going to learn something. Yes.
yeah,
Definitely, that's educational. Because for me, as like snakes, and I know not all snakes are bad, and snakes are not trying to bite people or do that sort of thing. Like we'd had a little black one crawling in our yard, but at the same time, it's still a fear as a human being. So for me, if a shark is in the water, I'm not going. The only time I've been there, I was out in Turks and Caicos, and I went under the water. I didn't know how to swim then, but they took me, I don't want to say snow diving, but we were wearing the snorkels and everything, and they took me under there, and I saw the little baby sharks. Those I was fine with, but the big ones, no. I'm not that brave yet, so good.
Yeah, I wasn't really either. I didn't want to get in the water. I admire my friends that do, but the sharks were big, so
Yeah,
I was like, I'll leave it to
no.
you guys.
I might be the one that they go, ooh, that looks like a nice brown snack.
Yeah, you never know. Like if they get into a feeding frenzy, they start biting whatever's moving. So yeah,
Oh
the scientists take precautions.
Oh, okay.
They know
okay,
what
okay.
behaviors to look out
To look
for.
for, yes. Well, thank you so much, Sarah. I certainly do
Yeah.
appreciate it. We'll be reviewing Sarah's work and seeing the stuff, and we'll have her and her friend Jasmine back on the show again. Thank you so
Yeah,
much
it's been a
again. I
pleasure.
truly
Thank you
appreciate
so much
it.
for having me.
Yes. I truly do appreciate it. All right then. Well, look, we are going to be having a guest coming up on our next show, and the guest on our next show is actually going to talk about business and how to structure a business. So if you know anybody that has a business, is thinking of doing a business, want to do a business, have a business idea, this is the show for them to watch, because he's going to tell you how to structure your business in such a way that you're successful, because most businesses fail within the first 2 to 3 years, and you don't want your business to be that business. So we want to make sure that you have a longevity in your business and financial success. So we want to educate you on that. And look, remember, I always say living wealthy always is a mindset. So always keep thinking wealthy to be wealthy. All right, bye-bye.
I am 15 years old. Right now we're at Infinity Air Club, Tampa. An amazing flight club experience. I want to fly for the Navy. I want to fly fighters, land on boats, and then after that, go to Top Gun, be a test pilot, Blue Angel, things like that. And I want to go and be an astronaut. Absolutely. The only limits that there are for you are the ones that you set for yourself.